Hello and welcome. The Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court is celebrating the opening of the law year on Friday, the 12th of January 2024. Hi, my name is Virgil Leonti, and here to fill us in on this year's activities is the Chief Registrar, Mrs. Michelle John-Theobalds. Thank you so much for joining us, Michelle.
Thank you for having me, and let me take this opportunity to wish you and the listeners and the staff of GIS a very happy new year.
Thank you so much, and wishing you the same as well.
Thank you.
To start off, maybe you could tell us a little about yourself. I know you are the Chief Registrar. Could you tell us what this entails, and maybe just give us a little summary of your journey, your law journey to that point?
Yes, thank you. The court's headquarters, the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court serves 9 member states and territories of the OECS. And the headquarters is right here in Castries, St. Lucia, on the waterfront, Castries. And the Court of Appeal Registry, which is the central hub, if you want to say, for the filing and management of matters for the Court of Appeal, that department is headed by a Chief Registrar. So I am the current holder of that position. I have been since 2018 the Chief Registrar, and we, as I said, we are based here in St. Lucia at the court's headquarters, but we do serve the 9 member states and territories of the OECS from right here in St. Lucia.
Okay, wonderful. Tell us about the opening of the law year 2024.
Well, no doubt, every year the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court looks forward to this event, which is the main event, if you want to call it, the highlight of the court's calendar. So we go by a yearly calendar, January to December, and the court has 3 terms. So at the opening of the first term, which would be in January of every year, we usher that term in with what we call events to host the opening of the law year. It's largely traditional. It's a lot of pomp and ceremony, as they like to say, but it still serves a very valid purpose, because when you think about the work of the court, the nature of the court, the business of the court, we realize that we have to take the time to bring it in, to allow persons to share in these activities, to really celebrate our court, to open it out, to ensure that we start with prayer, because we firmly believe that we should start the year, usher the year in with prayer. That's why most activities will in the various islands will start with a church service, and that would be followed by a parade or a march, if you want to call it, of the legal fraternity headed by the judges, and then the members of the Bar Association and members of staff as well of the court, normally walking from whatever church the service is held at to the courthouse, at which time the senior resident judge, or maybe the Chief Justice, if the Court of Appeal is on island, would then inspect the guard of honor, and then we would proceed to the courtroom for a special sit-in to mark the opening of the law year. Some islands have extra social activities, but these are the main ones that you can find in each and every member state and territory.
Okay. In St. Lucia, where is the church service going to be held?
This year, I was just about to say, this year is a little different for us. St. Lucia will not be having any activities on Friday, the 12th of January, but there will be, I have been advised that there will be a law week commencing next week, starting the 15th of January, and there are a number of activities planned, so it sort of coincides with the opening. So their church service will be on Monday, and then a number of other activities. But since the court serves 9 member states and territories, you find that every year a different island by roster is selected to host the activities. And that usually coincides with the island where the Court of Appeal will be holding its first sitting for that term. This year, all roads lead to the Spice Isle of Grenada. It's their turn, and they are so excited to host us, and we in turn are very excited to join them down there. But you know, technology has really allowed us to be more inclusive and all-encompassing. So although we will physically be in Grenada, we will be sharing and broadcasting the events live via various GIS stations, the court's website, Facebook, and on various other social media platforms to the other 8 member states and territories who are expected to join in, whether it would be from the various courtrooms or if persons just choose to view from wherever they may be at the time. So everyone can share in the celebration of the opening of the law year.
Wonderful. You mentioned the Law Week for St. Lucia.
Yes.
What will be some activities which will be hosted during this week?
I have been advised that there will be a lecture on Friday, and this lecture will be in honor of deceased Kenneth Foster, King's Counsel, and it's expected to be very intriguing and exhilarating.
Okay, do you know who will be delivering this lecture?
I understand that it will be one of our prominent attorneys at the criminal bar, Mr. Alberton Richlow.
Okay, wonderful. Okay, the theme for this year is Innovation and Justice Reform, the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court looking to the future. Could you speak to this theme?
When we were deliberating on a theme that would really encompass what the court has been doing and our activities over the past year, it brought us full circle to this theme, because a number of activities that the court has been engaged in clearly speaks to being innovative, whether it is to enhance the development of justice, to ensure that we provide a fair, efficient, and prompt administration of justice, of the administrative justice system to the persons of the Eastern Caribbean. And then we looked at a number of judicial reform initiatives that the court has been embarking on. We thought that this would be fitting, this would be a fitting theme to really speak to all the work the court has been doing. And the court has so much more planned for the future. So that brought us to the latter part of the theme, which is really the ECSC looking to the future. So persons can expect the speakers for the day to really zone in on that theme from their various perspectives, their experiences of how innovation and justice reform has really evolved the justice system or the administration of justice in the Eastern Caribbean. And our feature address will be delivered by Her Ladyship, the Honorable Dame Janice Pereira, who is our Chief Justice. And it is a very special year for us, bittersweet, but it will be Her Ladyship's exit address and the final time that she will be addressing us as our Chief Justice. So we are looking forward to that as well. But in addition to Her Ladyship's feature address, we can also expect to hear addresses from representatives of each and every member state and territory of the OECS. And the representative for St. Lucia will be our own Mrs. Diana Thomas Hunt, and she's the president of the Bar Association of St. Lucia.
Wonderful. Now, we won't go into details on some of the initiatives by the court, but could you just perhaps briefly mention in what ways that some of those initiatives stand to benefit the people of St. Lucia and perhaps the wider Eastern Caribbean?
Certainly. if I could just speak to maybe highlight just probably one of them in the interest of time, the electronic litigation portal. This is our filing and case management system. As the name suggests, it is electronic, of course. That means that you can file and you can check your cases, your matters online at any time, which is our tagline, because it is a system that once you have your password and the authorization code for your matter, you can go on, you can do your filings, you can get your notices of hearing, you can get your draft orders, you can get your scheduling. It helps if you're double booked, if you have another case at the same time, then it will point this out so you know that you will be double booked. You can not only can litigants and attorneys manage their cases, but also, most importantly, the court office is able to manage cases a lot better because of it. So one way in which this has really helped us, with the pandemic, being in physical spaces was a challenge. And prior to the introduction of the electronic litigation portal, you had to present yourself at the registry with your hard copies of your documents to file these. In some cases, you had to go to the post office, get stamps, put them on, and then come to file. But with the e-litigation portal now, there's no more paper. There's no need to print anything. You can just have your documents, you scan them, put them online. You have an escrow account that you pay monies into, and based on your balance, you will be able to file your documents. Before, persons had to go to the court office and the staff would have to print their notices of hearing, get them served by the bailiff or put it in the lawyer's dip. All this is paper. We're truly moving towards a paperless society where the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court is concerned, because all of this is now done on the e-litigation portal. So if this is not revolutionizing the administration of justice, I don't know what is, because it has really and truly taken us from a point where we were so dependent on manual activities to a point where we're using technology. And it also came in so handy with the pandemic. And the court, along with the Zoom technology, could now still sit. The Court of Appeal in particular depended heavily on paper. So you could see when the judges would travel, because it's an itinerant court, so the judges would have to travel to each and every island to hear appeal cases. They would have to do so with boxes upon boxes per judge on Liat and the other airlines. But that was done away with, because now we had folders, but they're all electronic. So you use a Google link, you share that link, and judges are able to access. And with the Zoom technology, we couldn't fly because of COVID, but the Court of Appeal was only able to miss one sitting from the time the pandemic started, and we kept going using Zoom and our electronic litigation portal to ensure that the citizens and residents of the Eastern Caribbean, that our mandate to them, we continue to fulfill it.
Okay, so it's really a convenience, not just for the judges, but for the citizens of the Eastern Caribbean as well.
That's right, because people really want their day in court. They want their matters to come up for hearing. They want to see the disposition of their matters. And by the court being able to actually access the files and the documents and have the hearings, this is definitely beneficial to the persons.
Wonderful. Well, Mrs. Michelle John-Theobalds, Chief Registrar, time has actually run out on us. But before we go, could we let the viewers know again what we could actually look forward to with the opening of the law year?
The opening of the law year takes place on Friday, the 12th of January, 2024. This year, it will be brought to you live from the Radisson Resort Grenada, which the Chief Justice has deemed a court. And this will be a special sitting to mark the opening, and it commences at 10 a.m. If you're not in Grenada and you're in St. Lucia, like most persons, then don't fear. You can log on to the court's website at www.eccourts.org, and there you could view through our YouTube channel, our Facebook page, or even on our various GIS stations like St. Lucia, where it will be broadcast from Grenada. We're urging everyone to get involved and be a part of this opening of the law year, because after all, it is our court, the people of the Eastern Caribbean.
Well, thank you so much, Mrs. Michelle John-Theobalds, for filling us in on the opening of the law year 2024, and this is on Friday the 12th. And thank you so much for joining us. Bye-bye.
Et puis moun kon Spa, St. Helen, et puis moun kon Apilo, yot ka alek yot ka wè. Dansan. C'est pour ça, c'est des boucles là. Harry Simmons, vraiment, c'est lui qui était comme papa yo, il forme yo, il guide yo, il fait yo connaître Saint-Lucie. À la manière, si vous restez pas quoi yo, vous pas reconnaître Saint-Lucie. Vous savez là, il y a plein de monde qui castré. Yo pas jamais descendre là, bon oui, yo pas jamais